Hello, and thank you for joining us on Weather Out West. I'm meteorologist Leah Pizzetti, and here is what we're tracking for you this morning. Yet. In fact, it's still early in the season, but winter is already knocking on parts of the West Coast after lots of rain. Snow has also been falling. We're tracking where and the impacts that snow is having. And while parts of the West Coast are also recovering from flooding, the East Coast suffered a similar fate. The nor'easter that is causing extreme weather on the other side of the country. Plus, one of nature's signs that fall is here is the leaves changing colors. But weather conditions affect our fall colors. We'll show you why some leaves are turning earlier and fading much faster. Good morning to you and welcome to Weather Out West, the hour-long show where we showcase what's happening weather-wise across the western United States. We start today in Sacramento, where a weather impact alert has been issued because of periods of heavy rain and continued snow. Meteorologist Monica Woods has the forecast for Northern California.
I'm meteorologist Monica Woods looking at our active weather pattern heading into the next couple of days. We're expecting rain for the coast as well as the valley, snow down to 6,500 feet. With periods of some unfortunate travel incidences as well to contend with for this year. So as we take a look at that cold plunge of air, it really makes its mark into our Tuesday forecast. With that, we'll also call for the opportunity of thunderstorms, not only for the Sierra, but through the foothills and into the valley as well. So again, an active weather pattern continuing in the forecast. This is really going to get going overnight Monday into Tuesday. So we have that excessive rainfall forecast also in play for our Tuesday, predominantly south of Highway 50. So this is more so going to be for the upper foothills south of Highway 50, as well as almost near Yosemite, with the potential of accumulating rainfall really starting to pick up into our Tuesday outlook. As far as that weather system, it's going to be pulling through from the Central Coast all the way into the valley and the Sierra heading into our Tuesday forecast. The back edge of this still impacting us on our Wednesday. Now, keep in mind, we're also going to have that cold air in place, and that's where we're going to see that changing snow line and the potential for some big problems in the Sierra, especially for the central and southern Sierra, where we'll watch accumulating snowfall. In some areas, we could see our snow up to about, it looks like, 12 plus inches of snow. As far as rainfall, the extended forecast will call for about 1 inch to 1.5 inches for the valley. So on the tail end of this, on our Tuesday, we're still picking up the potential for about 1/2 inch of rain. For the foothills, about 1 inch and additional about 12 inches of snow for this year. Getting to the numbers, we are going to be seeing some cold conditions. Highs only in the 40s for the Sierra. Those overnight lows dropping to about the freezing mark and even beyond that, below that. For the foothills, we're looking at highs only in the 40s and 50s. This is going to put us about a solid 10 to almost 15 degrees below average. We'll see that as well south of Highway 50. Yosemite, we're only looking at a high of 42 degrees. And keep in mind, the accumulating rainfall could be problematic, especially in low-lying areas and places that just normally can't deal with the amount of rain coming in. Moving towards the Central Coast, our highs are going to be right about 60. Inland areas, low 60s. Again, that's almost 20 degrees below average. It's going to be a cold fall storm for us into our Tuesday. Highs for the Bay Area in the lower 60s as we head inland. Again, only in the lower 60s, putting us almost 20 degrees below average. Some inland areas closer to about 10 to 15 degrees below average. And we see that cold air stay in place even into the middle of the work week when we clear things out. Highs in the 60s along the northwest coast, northern parts of the valley also in the 60s, about the low to mid 60s expected. But that snow line is going to be popping up and down between about 5,500 and 6,500 feet. So looking at the capital region, our highs are going to be, again, right around the upper 50s to near 60. A cold fall storm certainly making us take note that we are in that transition season. We're going to see the tail end of this brush us into our Wednesday forecast, mostly for this year. That's where we see the lingering impacts of this storm system. And then things dry out and start to clear up as we head towards the end of the week, making for a beautiful weekend forecast. For the foothills, we're still looking at lingering showers into our Wednesday morning, and then things will start to dry out. Not necessarily warming up too quickly. We'll eventually get there, but we're going to stay below average deep into our extended extended forecast, as you'll see. With our extended outlook, we have the weather impact day for our Tuesday, and then we start to see drier and slightly warmer weather ahead for the end of the work week. But again, our average high is about 80, 82 degrees, and we really don't see that much in this extended forecast. We're going to keep it in the 70s once we clear out of our weather impact storm.
As you heard Monica mention, an early season storm is bringing in the first significant snow of the season to much of the Sierras, and some of that snow arrived yesterday, impacting drivers on Donner Summit.
So were you ready for the snow today?
Definitely not. Easy home dressed.
Didn't think to pack snow boots.
No. I actually was thinking about bringing swimming suits.
Always a good reminder to check the forecast. Caltrans is bringing in its seasonal workers a couple weeks early. Crews have been out pre-treating roadways, ready for whatever this fall storm brings.
Well, right now we have our plow and sander trucks out. So we're bringing some material out. If it starts to accumulate up over the pass, we're gonna plow it off, and we're gonna put some materials down and make sure the road's safe and reliable for the transportation, for the traveling public.
And this early winter-like storm is expected to impact parts of Nevada as well, bringing snow to the mountains and some rain to the valley floors. The Nevada Department of Transportation is also starting early winter preparations, readying more than 80 snow plows and stockpiling more than 30,000 gallons of brine across northern Nevada. Crews will rotate in 12-hour shifts to keep highways clear during major storms, but drivers are still urged to check conditions before traveling by calling 511 or going to nvroads.com. The focus in Southern California is precipitation and flooding. Much of the Los Angeles area is watching for thunderstorms and heavy rain causing flooding. Just to the south, San Diego is also expecting rain. Meteorologist Vanessa Paz has the forecast from San Diego County.
Well, happy Tuesday from San Diego, California. I'm CBS 8 meteorologist Vanessa Paz. Rain is falling across California, impacting much of Southern California. Hasn't quite made its way to San Diego just yet. This is activity over the past several hours in the morning, and it looks like we're fairly dry, but we are expecting rain to come down within the next hour or two by the time we get to the noon hours. We are expecting a slew of advisories and warnings pertinent to this cold Pacific storm. In fact, much of Southern California, especially for areas like LA, Orange counties, are under flash flood advisories. Some of that advisory is spilling into San Diego County just to the north in the Camp Pendleton area. Meanwhile, for most of the region, with the exception of the mountains and deserts, will be under a wind advisory starting at 9 o'clock, lasting all the way through 3 p.m. this afternoon. Winds are going to be out of the south of about 15 to 20 miles per hour. Those are sustained winds, but they could gust up to 35 miles per hour at times, especially in those wind-prone pockets, mainly along the foothills, canyons, as well as the passes. As we take a look at our wind gust forecast, we are expecting some of the strongest winds around Tuesday at about 1:15, anywhere between 20 to 35 miles per hour or so. And we could have those isolated gusts higher than that in that 40-45 mile per hour range, again, closer to the slopes and the mountain communities. As we take a look at tomorrow's conditions when it comes to the winds, they will subside significantly as that system starts to die down. So we'll go from the 20s and 30s all the way down to about 10-15 mile per hour gusts, mainly impacting the county's eastern half. Overall, expect a breeze now all the way through Wednesday, and then everything's going to simmer down by the time we get towards the second half of the week. Here's the hourly rain chance specifically for the coastal areas. Notice how it's quite minimal all the way through 11 o'clock. Soars around the noon hour all the way through about 2-3 p.m. Could linger into the evening commute, but it looks like as we head into the evening hours, things will dry out. We are expecting this system to pack a nice punch in terms of rainfall totals. These are the estimates as of Tuesday morning. By Wednesday, 24 hours from now, we could accrue anywhere between 5 to about 8/10 of an inch and over an inch for areas like Palomar Mountain. Again, tomorrow we'll have a better idea in terms of those totals and how much we end up accumulating. It is going to be very cold. So although the rain's winds going to be in and out of here. Those cold temperatures will continue to linger. The system assisted with a cold front bringing in very cool air from the north. Temperatures are going to drop, sinking down to the low 50s from the coast all the way towards the inland valleys overnight. We'll hit lows in the 40s for our mountain areas. These are some of the coldest temperatures that we've seen so far this fall. And temperatures are even going to be quite cool for the desert areas, dropping down to the mid 50s. By tomorrow afternoon, cold temperatures linger. We're talking about highs in the upper 60s in downtown as well as Chula Vista. That's about 8 degrees cooler than where we should be for this time of the year. I mean, check out Palomar Mountain. Their highs are going to be where we're typically overnight. 50 degrees for daytime highs tomorrow afternoon. That's about 20 degrees cooler than where we should be. Borrego Springs, in the meantime, will hit a high of 74 tomorrow afternoon. That's nearly 20 degrees below seasonal as well. Meanwhile, for the inland valleys, anywhere between 12 to 16 degrees below average. All right, so we are looking at that weather impact day potentially lingering into Wednesday, but it looks like things are going to simmer down significantly Thursday all the way through the weekend. Not only are we going to dry out, but things are going to warm up again. By the weekend, we're talking about highs back into the mid 70s for the coastal and beach neighborhoods, back into the 80s for the inland valleys by the time we hit Saturday. So again, if cooler temperatures, the rain is not your jam, there's light at the end of the tunnel. We are looking at sunshine prevailing by the time we get to Saturday and Sunday. We're looking at another potential system that's going to cool things down for us early next week and could potentially also bring us another round of rain.
Thank you, Vanessa. Still ahead after the break, powerful visuals out of Arizona showing a microburst and a look at how long this impactful weather will last in the desert. Welcome back. Arizona has been hit by extreme weather for multiple days now. Over the weekend, heavy rainfall moved through the state, causing flash flooding. Multiple roads were washed out, and firefighters stayed busy rescuing people who were stranded. Then a microburst swept through, bringing powerful wind around 70 miles per hour. Look at those trees you saw. It toppled over roofs, ripped off of buildings. You see it right there. Wow, incredible visuals.
It basically felt like a hurricane, is like what I would describe it as. It was really windy, super loud.
This is probably the worst I've seen. I've seen plenty of damaged buildings, but as far as something related to weather-wise, this is going to be the worst I've seen.
Wow. The city of Tempe says more than 130 people are displaced after several apartment complexes were hit as well. Construction crews are now surveying the structural damage, and landscapers are now removing those fallen trees. With this wild weather, let's get now to meteorologist Ginger Jeffries in Phoenix with a look at the relief finally on the way there.
I'm meteorologist Ginger Jeffries with a look at your weather out west. It has been very soggy. Seen rain since Friday through yesterday. 2 rounds of record rainfall, a microburst that caused widespread damage across Tempe yesterday. But today we are now transitioning into a new weather pattern. We still have just a couple stray showers here and there, as you can see. Payson, going to see just some pop-up showers here and there. Doesn't look like anything severe, but again, just a small amount of rainfall, even in the higher elevations, which is so flooded already, can be damaging. So we're still keeping our eye on that. Meantime, a lot of wind is going to be settling in, especially along the northern tier of the state. The wind is a branch of this low pressure system that's pushing to the north, which is also going to be bringing some snow into the Sierras. And temperature wise, we are going to come way down as soon as that wind effect settles in. So take a look. Temperatures today, mid 80s for Phoenix. I've got 81 in Havasu, right at 60 degrees at the Grand Canyon. Here's our wind advisory. It's from about 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. for all the areas you see here in brown. We are looking for winds out of the south, 20 to 30 miles an hour, with gust potential up to 50 miles an hour. So our future winds showing, yep, right on cue just before the noon hour. We're seeing those double-digit winds. Now, Phoenix, our winds should stay under 10 to 15 miles an hour. The gusty stuff is in the higher elevations. And here we go. Sustained winds, 20 to 25 65, and then those gust potential will start to come down after about 6 to 7 o'clock. We may see an occasional gust in the 8 o'clock hour, but the wind event is pretty much over for the bulk of the region. We'll still see a little bit of wind. Now, this is a response to that moisture that continues to move on out, which again, we will see some pop-up showers in the higher elevations, but as we get into the day, here comes that wind event, and look at all the cold air element as well. That's the snow I was just mentioning. You see all these wind vectors as they're taking brighter colors. That indicates a higher velocity, and it's going to just sweep through the region, but the wind will continue to push all this moisture out of Arizona. So even though, yeah, I know we can still see a couple possible showers here and there, as far as any measurable rainfall for Phoenix, doesn't look like it's going to happen, just for the higher elevations, and it's pretty light at best, under about a half an inch. But again, any rain to compound what's already going in the higher elevations is not a good scenario. So as far as what we're looking for, maybe 3/100ths of an inch for Apache Junction, 1/100th of an inch at the Gold Canyon, and the far East Valley may see a pop-up shower or two. This is on the heels of some pretty extraordinary rainfall. Look at this. Record rainfall on Saturday and Sunday. Yesterday at Sky Harbor, less than 1/4 of an inch. But again, we saw that microburst in Tempe bringing in over 3/4 of an inch. Where does this leave us? Well, we have now ranked 3rd wettest October on record with over 3 inches. And, you know, we're only halfway through. So we will keep our eye on this. And just keep in mind, normal for us for the entire month of October is about a half inch. So we have done some work this year. In fact, we are well over our normal rainfall to the tune of almost 2 inches. So yeah, it's been a stark contrast to last year when we were breaking records for heat, right? No longer. Instead, we've got temperatures at about 85 today in Phoenix, 83 in Goodyear, 79 in Fountain Hills, 83 in Mesa. And as we look ahead next 7 days, you can really see and feel the impact of that cold wind blasting through today. Look at these overnights for the higher elevation. Flagstaff will be falling sub-freezing territory overnight by Wednesday. For the valley, I'm looking for our overnights to be dropping down into the low 60s, with our daytime highs falling to the 70s and staying below the normal range through the weekend.
The weather in Colorado is also calming down. Our team of meteorologists in Denver is watching what's to come this week.
Hello from Denver, Colorado. I'm 9 News Weather Impact Team Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin. It is such a neat time of year, October in Colorado, because you can have sunshine with temperatures in the mid-80s, glorious aspen leaves and trees changing up and down the Front Range and over elevated terrain. This is a shot from Shelley Hauer out of Gunnison over Ohio Pass. But this is the time of year where it might be raining in Denver and snowing way up high, and also in places like Salida. This is what Mary Barton woke up to today. So it is the season, and we're starting to tell folks, even though we haven't seen our first freeze, we've only seen rain in Denver, we haven't seen the first snow, time to blow out those sprinklers. The average date of the first freeze is October 7th, so we passed that, and October 18th is the average date of the first snowfall. So we're looking at a lot of moisture coming into Colorado, but not enough cold air for snow down here. More light snow expected over elevated terrain, and too much water in southwestern Colorado, where they've been dealing with flooding, 3 to 6 inches of rain, flood advisories, flood warnings, Pagosa Springs, Creed, Durango, Paonia, and more water coming, not just to western Colorado, but to southern California. And that water comes in the form of snow for the Sierras. Winter storm warnings are posted there. We see a push of showers overnight tonight, and then we're going to get a little bit of a break. Denver goes sunny and warmer Tuesday and Wednesday, back to the low 70s. So a nice break ahead of the next wave, which comes in on Thursday. We're going to start in the 40s this morning, warm to the low 70s. That'll be above the average of 66. We run above average Tuesday and Wednesday. We go cooler Thursday, Friday, 30% chance of showers on Thursday, and then head into a beautiful weekend. Our Broncos play in town, 2:05 kickoff and 71 degrees. You've got to love that. We, of course, will have much more on all of this on the platforms of 9news.com. Have a great day.
I'm 9 News Weather Impact Team's Katie LaSalle. The biggest weather story across Colorado on this Tuesday, October 14th, continued wet weather set to impact southern Colorado. Already seen historic rainfall, flooding conditions. Around 7 to even 10 inches of rain has fallen in parts of Archuleta and the San Juan counties, La Plata as well, where we are under a flood watch with flood warnings in place. The rivers are rushing, creating some dangerous conditions down south, and we will continue to see more moisture stream in. So why is this occurring? We have seen the remnants of tropical moisture. First, Hurricane Priscilla, it brought widespread flooding rain Friday into Saturday. We have an area of high pressure over eastern Colorado. The I-25 corridor and Denver will be warmer and dry for today, but continued moisture streaming in. We have an area of low pressure off to our west. You combine that with continued tropical moisture. So unfortunately today and tomorrow, more wet weather impacting southwestern Colorado. But as we get into the end of the week, it will dry out. So that'll be some good news. Our rainfall forecast for the I-25 corridor, the Eastern Plains, where that ridge of high pressure is in effect. That is, it's going to be southwestern Colorado, upwards of 1 to even 2.5 inches down near Pagosa Springs, where we don't need more of that rainfall, but it is very helpful for drought conditions when all is said and done. But it's too much of a good thing, unfortunately. So what does bust drought? Where we have been seeing extreme to severe drought conditions over the western slope, southern Colorado, moderate to heavy, consistent rainfall, which is what we have seen. We have a little break in the precipitation early Tuesday, but again, more wet weather on the way, a few scattered showers and stronger thunderstorms possible later on this evening through the day tomorrow. Our drought monitor, this is updated every Thursday. It will be a very different picture, especially over the southwestern corner of the state, which we will continue to let you know about as we get into Thursday afternoon. But in the meantime, we are bracing for more wet weather, and it's great to see the precipitation, but again, the flood concerns will continue for tonight.
Thank you, Katie. And as you just heard her mention, we've had that significant rain. Days of torrential rain in Mexico also brought flooding and landslides. At least 64 people are confirmed dead and 65 are still missing. The intense rains were fueled by that tropical storm, Raymond, which formed last Thursday off the coast of Guerrero, converging with remnants of Hurricane Priscilla and other systems in the Atlantic Ocean. Just a wet situation. Thousands of troops have been deployed for relief efforts as rescuers struggle to reach more than 80 towns that remain inaccessible. Well, in many areas, it feels like we went straight from summer to winter, but technically it is still fall. Those weather shifts are impacting our fall colors. After the break, how drought conditions impact the fall colors we see and when they peak. Welcome back to Weather Out West. Signs of fall are showing up across the West Coast. The colors are so beautiful this time of the year, but drought conditions from the summer could mean changes to what we typically see in the fall. Seattle's Savannah Welch spoke to experts about what we can expect in the coming days.
Weather and drought are affecting how fall colors are turning out this year. I talked to experts who say leaves could turn earlier and in some areas fade faster than usual. Here's what that could mean for the coming weeks.
It's always so beautiful. It's always such a nice time of year.
After a long, dry summer, experts say Washington's fall colors are showing up earlier and they might not stick around as long.
We've fallen into a moderate to severe drought for most of the state, and that has put a lot of stress on the trees. And so they're sensing that, and they're going to try and shut down as early as they can. They're going to be about a week, maybe 10 days earlier that we reach peak.
Seattle arborist Ray Larson says it might be early, but if the weather cooperates, we could still see some really beautiful fall colors.
Usually peak for us is like the third week in October, I would say. It kind of depends what happens between now and end of October.
And while the timing changes year to year, the science behind the color shift will be the same. Now that our days are shorter and our nights are cooler, chlorophyll, the green pigment that helps trees make energy from sunlight, is breaking down. The hidden pigments, called carotenoids, start to show through in bright oranges and yellows. Finally, tannins are left behind, which turns the leaves brown before they drop. The balance of the pigments and how strongly they appear depend on the tree species and the weather. Peak colors are expected in Whatcom, Skagit, Clallam, Thurston, and Yakima counties around October 7th, Central counties around October 14th, and counties including King, Pierce, Snohomish, and Clark should see peak color about a week later around October 21st. And while the Northwest doesn't have the rolling hills of the East Coast, Larson says the evergreen backdrop makes our colors really stand out.
You already get that contrast with the dark evergreens and then these pops of color that kind of, almost highlight that color a little bit more.
So whether you're headed to the mountain passes or just your local park, expect to see plenty of fall color. It might just be coming a little earlier than we're used to. Savannah Welch, King 5 News.
Thanks, Savannah. Still ahead after the break, Alaska is recovering after a typhoon leaves one person dead and dozens needing rescues, why cleanup efforts are being slowed. Plus, we will head back to the Pacific Northwest, where the first frost and sub-freezing temperatures are impacting many metro populations. We'll show you where after the break. Thanks for sticking with us here on Weather Out West. Here's what we're tracking for this next half hour. A dangerous nor'easter crawled up the East Coast, unleashing damaging winds and flooding in many states. In New Jersey, many roads were completely submerged in water. Virginia saw cars surrounded in high water. South Carolina had flooded streets with closed businesses. Many states reporting wind gusts of more than 50 miles per hour. According to the FAA, multiple airports had weather-related ground delays as well. The coastal storm is called a nor'easter because winds blowing from the northeast push water toward the coast. At least 2 people remain missing in Alaska today after remnants of Typhoon Halong hit the state over the weekend. What was left of the storm brought high winds and record flooding. At least one person has died in the severe weather, with more than 50 people needing to be rescued. First responders had to pluck some of them off the roofs of their homes. While floodwaters are set to recede during the day, erosion and debris could slow cleanup efforts in some locations. A typhoon is a tropical storm in the Northwest Pacific Ocean, what we would call a hurricane for most of the rest of the United States. The cold is settling in for many areas, and the Northwest is not immune to that. Let's get now to Hector Mendoza in Boise with a look at the forecast for Idaho.
Well, it was a soggy start out here in Boise, Idaho. As we're taking a look at the Capitol, you can notice some of that light glistening there on the cement and on some of those rocks that we're seeing in some of those areas there. That is due to some of the rain that fell through early on this morning. We've seen that continue through the early portion of the morning, and that is due to this system here that has continued to pump in some of that moisture. It's made its way enough north to where it's made its way through portions of the Magic Valley and in through areas closer to the Idaho-Nevada border, and that's going to continue at least through the early afternoon before we start to see some of those precipitation chances start to dial back. And then we get another push as this system makes its trek on in through the east and up north, and then continue through Nevada and Utah. And that's what's going to bring along another chance for some showers that come along late tonight. And then that will continue in through the early portion of Wednesday. Temperatures are much cooler here for today as we start off into the 60s as we got onto Monday. Today and tomorrow expecting to stay into those upper 50s, so struggling to climb out and get into the 60s, but we have a warm-up that comes along. So I'm going to show you this here as we look at our upper level pattern and notice the trek that the system makes here as it continues on into the east. That will bring along a lot more of that active weather that continues there through tomorrow. But then as we look on into Thursday, we're going to see a high pressure system that starts to take over, starts some of those warmer temperatures still below average there for Thursday. But then as this high pressure system continues its way on in through the east there, we're going to continue to see that those sunny conditions and those warmer temperatures come along Friday and into Saturday. But then after that, we pay attention to this system here that's expected to make its way through and start to impact Sunday and early into next week. So we could see another chance for some showers. There is a chance that we see a lot more of that snow start to accumulate in some of those higher elevation areas. Some models are already initiating are showing that we could get up to 4 inches of snow as we get through Sunday and in through Tuesday. But again, we are still ways away, so we'll keep an eye on some of those chances. And we'll keep an eye on that system as we get closer in through the weekend. And then again, those sunnier conditions will start to cool off our temperatures as this system comes in. And Monday, we can expect a much cooler drop in temperatures. But as we look at this futurecast and notice where some of those showers do come along, we're going to continue to see that up until the afternoon hours there through Tuesday, in through the evening, and in through the overnight overnight hours. And then as we get on towards Wednesday afternoon, we're expecting a little bit more of that to continue through Jerome and Twin Falls. So that is going to be another impact to the morning commute there for areas of the Magic Valley. Then it makes its way on through Mountain Home and then through other spots in the Treasure Valley. So we're expecting that to continue till about 6 to 8 o'clock in the morning before we start to see a little bit more of that start to make its way out. And we'll see less of those sort of showers there that comes along till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then as that system continues to make its way on out, we're going to notice that most of those showers start to shift on into the east. And then we stay dry here for Boise, Caldwell, Nampa, and other spots in through the Treasure Valley. And we'll see a little bit more of those clouds to the Magic Valley, but still most of that rain will make its way on through. And we're going to see some of the warmer temperatures come along. And these are some of the potential numbers we could see all the way through Thursday, as we're expecting a little bit more to come along there for portions of the mountains. We get just a little under 2/10 of an inch there in Boise, and then right at 1/10 of an inch there as we look at Twin Falls. So we'll continue to see some of these lighter numbers there through the valleys, but some of those shower chances do start to increase in through Wednesday for the Twin Falls area. Temperatures will stay into the low 50s before rising back up into those upper 60s there by Sunday, and that's pretty much what we're going to be seeing here for the Boise area, as our 7-day forecast will show us temperatures climb up into those low 60s, so still staying below average for Thursday and Friday. And then we start to see more seasonal temperatures there for Saturday and into Sunday, and those temperatures start to drop. Winds will start to pick up, and then we are going to notice that some of those shower chances will continue there Sunday and through Monday.
And a large portion of western Washington woke up to temperatures around and even below, well below freezing. Let's turn now to meteorologist Rich Marriott in Seattle with the cold temperatures and when the next round of rain will arrive in western Washington.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Rich Marriott, and we've made it to Tuesday. That's an accomplishment. It was a beautiful morning around western Washington, but definitely with clear skies and a cool air mass. A chilly one for around Puget Sound, down to 29 degrees for the lows there in Shelton and Olympia, which for this time of the year is a little bit of a shock to the system in those areas. See the effect of the heat island of situation, because we do have temperatures that stayed mostly in the 40s near the main cities, but once you moved away, it was chilly. There was a frost advisory out until 8 a.m. For out towards the Cascade Foothills and Mason County, but that was dropped at 8 o'clock, but it's likely to be back in place overnight tonight, because we're going to drop right back into these low temperatures again as we head towards Wednesday morning as well. So time to dig the jackets out. We definitely are into fall, and winter is almost in sight. Take a look from our Granite Falls High School camera. Sunshine out now. They did have frost on those play fields earlier this morning, but that sunshine has burnt that off, and it's going to turn into a really nice afternoon with temperatures pretty close to normal, which is right around that 60-degree mark, which is pretty comfortable, and that will seem like a heat wave here in about a month from now. Checking the Everett Tower cam, a lot of blue in there. Gorgeous morning there, looking out across Possession Sound. If you remember yesterday morning, you saw a fairly low snow line there on the Olympics because of the just dusting that got down to about 4,000 feet. That all melted off yesterday afternoon, and so shifted up to probably above about 5,000 feet that you're seeing most of that snow there. Checking the Queen Anne Tower cam, you can see a pretty quiet morning there. Camera's moving a little bit, but that wind is pretty much up off the ground rather than at the surface, mostly around 10-mile-per-hour winds that we're seeing right on the ground. They're in Tacoma as well, seeing a nice morning developing there. It should turn into a beautiful fall afternoon around Puget Sound and really across western Washington. Now they're along the coast looking for plenty of sunshine too. You can see still getting a pretty good wind ripple there on the surface of the ocean. So still getting a little bit of that north wind, which is coming down from the interior of British Columbia and giving us these cooler temperatures that we're having right now. Checking our First Alert 7-day forecast, you can see we're kind of a repeat tomorrow, and then as we head on towards Thursday and Friday, the ridge of high pressure is protecting us. Gradually weakens. We might see a couple showers moving in later Thursday, Friday, but we get a cold front that moves in later Saturday, and that is going to give us some rain and then some showers, and also lowering snow levels in the mountains as we get towards Sunday into early Monday. Checking the satellite image, you can see basically high pressure sitting over us right now and up into BC. That clearing shows it up there. That's going to sit with us today and tomorrow, and then as we head towards Thursday, that's going to gradually start to move away from us. We'll get brushed by a weak system later Thursday into Friday. It's not going to do much beyond giving us more clouds. And then as we we head into the weekend, we will see us open up for a cold front to actually push in here as we head towards later Saturday into Sunday. Looking at our forecast for the playoff games coming to Seattle tomorrow. There for Game 3. Not looking bad. It's going to be sunny, and it looks like temperatures at the start of the game, that first pitch at 5:08, it's going to be in the low 60s, staying in the 50s during the game, mid to upper 50s. Similarly, on Thursday, though, we'll have more clouds around. We'll see those temperatures mostly in the mid to upper 50s during the game, and that chance of a shower moving in late evening, so it may miss the game altogether, or miss T-Mobile anyway. There's not much to that, and still a few showers lingering on Friday. Still looking at temperatures near 60 at the start of the game, and then cooling back to the mid 50s during the game. So pretty much the same type of weather they've been playing in pretty much through the playoffs so far. So that's good news. Want to keep things consistent. Checking that view there from our camera up there at Mount Rainier, you see a little dusting left over from that weekend snow, and similarly there at Hurricane Ridge over in the Olympics, just that little dusting at around 5,000, 5,500 feet. Checking the hiking forecast. If you're going to get some late season hiking, not too bad. We're going to be looking at temperatures at the highway pass levels getting to the low 50s. Pretty much the same again tomorrow, but we're going to see those high temperatures getting into the low to mid 50s. Might be a little bit of fog around in the mornings though through the passes. However, as we head towards the weekend, we're going to see those snow levels dropping down to about 7,000 by Saturday, and then as we head into Sunday and Monday, dropping down to 4,000 feet. So we could see some minor accumulations above 4,000 feet. Probably not sticking on the highway at Snoqualmie Pass, which is around 3,000 feet, but maybe at Stevens you might see an inch or two, and then North Cascades Highway, which is up around 5,000 feet. Better chance of seeing some accumulations on that highway. And as we head on towards the start of next week and see things dry out a little bit, so mostly sunny after some cool mornings today and tomorrow, upper 50s and low 60s. Thursday, partly sunny, a chance of a shower moving in late evening, upper 50s. Just a couple showers mixed with sunshine on Friday. Rain moves in the afternoon on Saturday, turns to off and on showers Sunday, dropping back to the mid 50s with those snow levels dropping to 4,000 feet Sunday. Partly sunny on Monday after just a couple of morning showers, and highs staying in the mid 50s.
Up next after the break, we showed you the cold in western Washington. We'll check in on the conditions to the south and east in Portland and Spokane as well. Those forecasts are next. Welcome back. Eastern Washington is dealing with back-to-back freezing mornings. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick is in Spokane watching the frost and hard freeze timing this week.
I'm meteorologist Thomas Patrick in Spokane, Washington. Quite chilly here this morning. We got oh so close to our first freeze of the season. But if you're looking for any kind of winter weather around here, you can still head up to the mountains. I showed this yesterday. This is Silver Mountain in North Idaho. Still got that fresh coat of snow from this past weekend. So that's the second phase of fall. Cold enough for the mountain snow to stick around. Cold enough to finally get to 32 degrees in most areas. Still waiting maybe 1 or 2 more days for us to get there. So after a chilly Tuesday morning, it will, well, stay cold at night. The sunshine, however, warms us up nicely during the day. Honestly, the weather pattern this week is quiet and just right on averages for both high and low temperatures for that matter. Here's where we were this morning, 33, oh so close to 32 for the first time this season. Much colder to the north, of course. 25 in Deer Park in northern Spokane County, always much colder there versus downtown Spokane. For whatever reason, the elevation is actually about the same. Colville up in Stevens County, 28 degrees there, and Pullman did get to 32 degrees on the Palouse. In Spokane, the average first freeze is usually October 9th. That's the date around where we usually get to 32 degrees for the first time in fall. We got very close today, so we're still a little late to the punch. We'll probably be a week late on that average, but this just goes to show that this is very typical for the season to finally get this cold. It's just been a long time coming this time around. Check out the fall colors though. A lot of red on the map, and anywhere you see red is peak fall colors. It's everywhere in North Idaho. And in Spokane, we're probably 1 or 2 days away. I'll be sure to show this map each day this week and show this very quick transition from what was some very light fall colors just 2 weeks ago straight into the peak of that fall foliage really thanks to that cold weather finally. And yes, down to the 30s really helps to accelerate those last couple trees that are hanging on to that green. They'll start changing colors pretty quickly this week thanks to those cold nights. And it is all clear. Nice little pocket of some calm weather for the Pacific Northwest. The storm that gave us the wind yesterday continued to go straight south along the coast. It's over California right now. So while it's not disturbing us, our conditions will stay just quiet and sunny during the day to warm us up nicely, but clear at night will keep us pretty cold. Here's where we are compared to averages in Spokane. A high of 57, pretty close to the average high of 59. The lows maybe a pinch below normal, just thanks to the clear skies at night to get us just a little bit colder than we would normally would be. Mid-50s high temperatures today from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho to Spokane, Washington. Clear skies drop us down to near the freezing mark. I do officially go 33 for my forecast. Looks like we'll have a chance to hit that 32-degree mark for the first time this season. So big picture shows a pretty quiet pattern, especially if you're just looking at the Pacific Northwest quadrant. Little light system on the west side, not disturbing Spokane this week. We have to wait until that jet stream buckles and gives us a real weather maker. This storm will appear to get close to us around Saturday night and certainly on Sunday. So Sunday, I have by far the best rain chances. And like this past weekend, a fairly cold rain at 57 for the high, probably just in the 40s while it's raining. But otherwise, nothing up until then. Just sunny skies and those temperatures normalizing back to those seasonal averages in the 50s.
Well, clear and cold are two words that represent parts of Oregon this week as well. Meteorologist Rod Hill is in Portland with the fall forecast.
Good morning on a clear sky morning. It is really gorgeous outside in Portland. I'm Rod Hill. You know, it's that time of the year that when you get clear skies, you almost always have chilly temperatures. So I want to start off by just showing you what we've done. Not overly cold, but just chilly. Hillsboro, the only city on this particular view that dipped below 40 at 39. So far, Portland, the coolest we've been, I believe, was the 42 that we had yesterday morning, actually. And then we'll widen out the view. We've had live cameras verify some frost out in the gorge in the Hood River Valley. Hood River got down to 32 this morning. And there has likely been some frost up north of Portland in Cowlitz County. The airport up in Kelso reporting 33 degrees this morning. And I feel pretty confident that we will be colder overnight tonight in most spots, certainly here in the valley, going into your Wednesday morning. We've had light winds, but just enough of an east to north breeze to keep a lot of us up a little bit this morning. But we could be just perfectly calm later tonight. And if that's the case, then parts of the Willamette Valley could be looking at some frosty conditions in scattered locations, potentially tomorrow morning. So we're warning people about that. Here's our setup. Upper level low sitting off the coast of California, really wet down there. But for us, we're actually still caught in the general flow around this low, giving us a dominant, but not as strong, but a dominant or prevailing east wind pattern. We have some clouds over parts of central and eastern Oregon early this morning. Kind of tough to see them on the infrared picture, and some showers nipping southeastern corners of our state. All of that is going to be clearing. So central Oregon, eastern Oregon will also enjoy beautiful sunshine this afternoon. It is pretty much perfectly clear here west of the Cascades. And with just a touch of east wind going all the way off the beach, the coast will see similar temps in the 60s today to the valley. Here's our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. Here's our mountain. Remember, we picked up that foot of snow Sunday into Sunday night. So with the fresh snow and the deep blue sky, it's really a beautiful contrast. You can see the trees bouncing around. We've had east winds up at 6,000 feet on Mount Hood, gusting to about 30 this morning. We've had similar winds in what's a very famous wind spot in our area in the Columbia River Gorge called Crown Point, the Vista House, where they've had also some east winds gusting to 30, which by east wind standards is pretty tame for our area, but enough to produce the clear skies here in the valley. This camera just keeps getting pretty and prettier. Look at all the fall foliage there from our state capitol and the mall down in Salem. Beautiful, beautiful morning. Downtown Portland, similar scene. And again, winds in the downtown have been light. You can see the Willamette River is pretty quiet there in front of the city. All right, futurecast. I mentioned there are some clouds this morning in central and eastern Oregon, but they just clear out. And just like that, That's all there is to look at. So let's get you to our forecast numbers. Beautiful day. I mentioned similar temperatures, coast and valley, both expected to be up into the mid-60s. Pacific City 65, Astoria 65. Clear skies, northeast winds 5 to 10. What a day. Wow. All right, here's our valley forecast. Clear skies as well, 66 in Salem. Northeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Now notice the lows tonight. I think most of the Willamette Valley, meaning more areas than not, will dip into the 30s. And I do really expect we'll see at least some spotty or scattered frosty locations. I show Salem at 38, but McMinnville, which is out in wine country, down to about 33 degrees. Similar numbers up into southwest Washington, by the way. Low to mid 30s, maybe a few spots get down to 30. Could still be some 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts today out along the Columbia River. Real quick look at forecast high statewide, 60s on the west side, 50s out east. And here's Portland's 7-day forecast. 65, 65, our next shower chance would be some frivolous stuff, mainly Thursday overnight is the new timing. That would give us a dry Friday, heavier rain Saturday night into Sunday.
Rod, I'm glad that some people are getting a taste of fall while others, as we showed you earlier, it feels like winter already. Well, when we come back, we are going to take you to an incredible light show in Berlin. You don't want to miss those visuals. Stay with us. And finally today, we do want to take you back to satellite and radar of California, where we are actively watching this rain moving in. We already mentioned this, but I want to show you one more time what we are seeing here. We see the rain that is moving in all the way from Northern California, San Francisco, rotating through the Los Angeles metro area right now. As of right now, we do have a good amount of watches, warnings, and advisories for Los Angeles County. As we know, heavily populated areas, flash flood concerns, severe thunderstorm concerns, flash flood warnings I'm seeing right now over Burbank and Santa Clarita. So we will continue to keep an eye on that flooding and rain. Be sure to tune into Weather Out West tomorrow with a look at how it all shook out. And to close out our show today, let's take a look at this stunning video of the German capital being transformed into a city engulfed by light art. It's part of Berlin's 2025 Festival of Lights. Artists from around the world help with the displays on Berlin's buildings, landmarks, and monuments. The annual event brings in more than 3.5 million visitors and may even briefly take away the title of City of Light from Paris, France. The festival will end on October 15th. Well, that does it for us here on Weather Out West on this Tuesday, October 14th, midway through October. I'm meteorologist Leah Pizzetti. Thank you so much for spending the last hour with us. We will see you right back here tomorrow, same time, same place.